security comes first. And in order for you to have financial security, you have to have full disclosure and agreement and cooperation between you and your spouse. Neither one of you can have a spending problem. You have to keep things under control, and you have to stick with a budget. A budget is what gives you freedom. A budget is a tool for you, and it's mandatory and required. Should women have a secret bank account?
I think it depends on the situation. So
I know, because that's what you said in cut 1 or 2.
So I said,
for the benefit of the audience.
Yeah. So my answer is, if a woman is in an abusive relationship, absolutely.
Yeah.
If she's held, if money is like not like her husband holds money over her head, doesn't allow her to have her own finances, then yes. But if you're in a healthy relationship where you share bank accounts and you're very open with one another, then no, you should not hide the bank account.
If your husband, your spouse, has a financial problem and is blowing through all the money, then you better. There's some real issues and risks with that.
I think it's also important, like, for a woman to have somewhat of an independence. If their husband dies, and they're not set up.
The general rule is you both should know 100% and have 100% access to 100% of the stuff. Mm-hmm. Neither one of you should be able to financially imprison the other. Because if you don't have access to your own money, you are a prisoner one way or the other. Mm-hmm. And you should not let the other do all the finances without even a discussion. If one of you is better and going to handle and do all the transactions, fine. Mm-hmm. But you need to have at least once a month budget meeting, which is what's taught in Financial Peace University by Dave Ramsey. And we're getting ready to watch Dave Ramsey talk about whether women should have a secret bank account or not, or at least one of the personalities. I think this might be his daughter, who scarily reminds me of Summer.
Oh.
So one thing, Jade, I feel like we both enjoy good social media. And and now that it's everywhere all the time, there's a lot of people giving financial advice out there. And so we always have a good chuckle.
It's like I love it and I hate it at the same time.
Like, you were saying earlier, like, Rachel, I keep seeing these things. I was like, well, let's talk about it, Jade.
Okay, so, I mean, we're in the finance space. So, the people that you follow tend to be in your same world. Even if you don't have the exact same views, it's like, okay, like I follow other money people. And I got to tell you, Rachel, there's somebody that I follow and it's just so frustrating to me because...
Who do you think it is? Who do you think she follows? That's frustrating to her. Taking any guesses?
Oh, who she follows that frustrates her?
I bet it's going to be somebody. You think it's going to be a TikToker? We'll see.
A lot of her posts are about women having their own finances separate from their men, but it's in a way that's a little bit secretive, right? Yeah. And okay, don't get me wrong. If you're not married and you're just living together or it's your boyfriend, yes, keep your money separate. But if you're married, I believe that you should work together with your finances. You should combine things. And I know that this person's point of view, like I know like their background, they were hurt in a relationship and all this, but I just feel like the advice is not where it needs to be. And I, as a married person, keeping money aside, secretive, for me, that's towing the line there, that's keeping secrets and like keeping all of your assets in your name. I mean, what's the message that's sending? The message is, I don't trust you. I don't see a for sure future here. So I'm just going to keep mine over here in my pocket and my account and you don't touch it. Is that really the footing that you want your relationship to be on?
No, it is not.
Oh,
it is not. You want to be completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and what I think a lot of these people, I think you may have said this earlier, that it's a lot of fear.
Yeah.
It's living in a lot of fear.
It is a lot of fear. And the way that you overcome that fear is you get on the same page about money. You make decisions together. You follow the steps that's recommended in Financial Peace University. Mm-hmm. Great program. I highly recommend it. And you eliminate that fear and you provide security. There is a pyramid, and the base of the pyramid is security. Next is self-esteem. Next is love. If you're insecure, it doesn't matter who you're in love with. If you're being chased by a tiger, it doesn't matter who you're in love with. You need to run from the tiger. Security comes first. If you're being chased by a tiger, it doesn't matter how good you feel about yourself. As long as you feel good enough to not just commit by tiger and go out by tiger. But as long as have enough self-esteem to want to preserve your own self and run away from the tiger, first order business, run away from the tiger.
Right.
Run into the cave. Then when you're getting in the cave and the tiger can't get you, then you can feel good about yourself. And then once you feel good about yourself, you can look around the cave to see who you want to make love to. So that's the pyramid. The base of it is security. You have to have security first. And if you don't have financial security, you're not going to have a relationship. You cannot build love on that. A lot of people think, Oh, if I fall in love, then I'll feel good about myself, and then I'll build a future first. No, that's a pyramid that's going to fall over and tumble and crumble and crash down on you. You first need to have security, and security in who you are, in your future, in your arrangements, your lifestyle, your situation, the feng shui of your life, the people you surround yourself by, the information that you allow to come into your brain. Subscribe to people that are going to healthily coach you and teach you and show you good things and educate you, like Dave Ramsey, like Patrick Bet-David with Valuetainment, like the Lawyer Dana podcast, and with Jennifer Hardy Har. So it's critically important. Security comes first, and in order for you to have financial security, you have to have full disclosure and agreement and cooperation between you and your spouse. Neither one of you can have a spending problem. You have to keep things under control, and you have to stick with a budget. A budget is what gives you freedom. It's where you assign every dollar a job. And if there are things that you want, then your budget will show you all the things that you need and put your necessities there and show you, here's what you have to get the things that you want. And if you want more, then you can go out and you can use your budget to determine what more it is that you want, what more that you need, and then you problem solve, how do I bring in that extra money for those extra things that I need? A budget is a tool for you, and it's mandatory and required. But let's see where they go with this.
Yeah. And again, are there situations that you want to be smart, right? If there's, we talked to someone that came out of a domestic abuse situation, right? If there's something.
Boom, domestic abuse. It's almost like we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like that going on, or an addiction. I mean, there are these points that
or addiction. That was the other thing I was getting at. So if somebody's got a substance abuse problem, you better start protecting that money into a separate account, and then you've got to get that dealt with. Because I have seen people with drug abuse and alcoholism that are
gamblers
and gambling, and they are going to sink the ship.
Be smart, but overall, you guys, for a majority of couples, working together, it's amazing the level of communication that's created, the level of trust that happens, and just the oneness of marriage that you're experiencing, even with your money.
And the fact,
the number one cause of divorce is finances, financial problems. It doesn't lead to the hardest of divorces. It just leads to divorces.
Oh, I think finances is the number one problem. I would put that over adultery.
Yes. It's far more common.
Yeah.
Far, far more common. And on the scale, so on my scale of my top 5 things that lead to a hard divorce are alcoholism, number 1, mental illness, number 2, drug abuse, number 3, finances is number 4, and number 5 is adultery. Right. Adultery is actually the easiest one to come back from. It's the easiest one to forgive, because a lot of times it's a symptom of an unhealthy marriage. Finances is obvious, as we're talking about. The next one with drug abuse, mental illness, and alcoholism are basically the same thing, but at least the DA has to be hidden, and there's some shame with it, and you can kind of deal with that a little bit. With mental illness, it's random and it's hard to reason with. Well, so is DA, and alcoholism is too, but alcoholism is the worst. Why? Because it's advertised. It's socially encouraged. It's feng shuied, where you go out and it's always the next alternative, and it's massive escapism. It is basically the king of those 3. It is mental illness, and it's the most difficult one, and those are the ones that are in the most amount of denial. And when you have a marriage that is crumbling, the marriage viability assessment that we give is with an alcoholic is always the same. I want my marriage to work. They want the marriage to work. I'm willing to do whatever it takes in order to make my marriage work. They're willing to do whatever it takes to make the marriage work. I know what it will take to make the marriage work, and they know what it will take to make the marriage work. But we're not able to do it, because what it will take to make the marriage work is I have to tolerate living with the alcoholic, or the alcoholic has to quit drinking. The alcoholic cannot quit drinking, and I can no longer tolerate living with the alcoholic, because it will destroy both of us instead of just destroying them. And they realize this is the Titanic, and it is headed towards the iceberg. I have to get off this ship right now, or I have to change the direction of the Titanic. changing the direction of the Titanic is the alcoholic quitting drinking.
Right.
Me getting off the ship is the alcoholic can't quit drinking. I cannot go down with the ship. At least I have to get on that floating piece of wood that technically still did have room for 2 people on that piece of wood.
It really didn't, though.
It didn't? You're a believer that that wood couldn't have floated them both?
No. The reason why there couldn't both be on there is because as he tried to get on there, it started sinking more in the water, which they would have both freeze to death.
That's legit. I wouldn't know because I've actually not watched Titanic.
You've never seen Titanic?
I knew this was coming. I knew that's exactly what you were going to say. Let's go back to our video.
Let's go to this. My senior year, that's when Titanic came out. My prom was like, the theme
of your prom was Titanic?
Never let go.
Never let go.
I swear to you.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's see what they're talking about here.
That, I mean, there's studies that say couples who communicate openly about money tend to feel that they're on the same team. It says,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Quote, feeling like you're on a team together with your partner promotes relationship satisfaction.
Absolutely. You and Daniel have that?
What? Like
communicate about money and all that?
Yeah.
Summer and I do.
Yeah.
Summer and I mean, because of the nature of what we do, and her job is managing, being the financial controller of 2 companies. Yeah. We talk about money frequently. She's on it basically every day. That's her job.
Yeah.
And so I do think that there's a way as a woman, because we're all talking about all the woman things today, there is a way to feel like you have, and not to feel like it, but to actually have equal footing, equal say. And God forbid, if something happens, you don't get left out in the cold.
Yes.
Right, Rachel? I mean, for me, it's knowing what's going on with your money, making sure that you are combining everything, making sure that if you're purchasing a house, it's not just in his name, it's in your name too. Making sure that if there's retirement accounts, you're the beneficiary on everything.
Yes.
So for me,
Yes. That is one of the biggest focuses of our estate planning department is we make sure all of these different things are done.
Yep.
It's more of approaching the money in a way that I know exactly what's going on. I'm not ignorant to the situation.
Exactly.
I know what's going on, as opposed to I'm just going to have my life over here and, what have you. And I know for me, when I first got married, I was the woman that was kind of the other end of the spectrum that was like, la da 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 da, I don't know what's going on. I don't care. He brings in the money, and I really thought like, oh, ignorance is bliss.
Right.
And then they learned.
Right.
Ignorance is not bliss. It is broke.
Yes.
And you will end up broke, and then you won't even know how you got broke. So I can't say it enough. The solution to the problem is not going off on your own and being secretive with money, hiding your money, having secret accounts. I'm not against having your own piece of money out of the budget, right? Like having a line item. I mean, I have line items. Jade's fun and Jade's hair and Jade's grooming. That's fine. And I don't have to tell Sam, okay, I spent $12 on shampoo.
Right.
I'm not saying that.
If Summer told me she spent $12 on shampoo, I would look at her and go, that's nice. Do we not have something better to talk about than your shampoo purchase?
Well, I was going to say,
but we have clients that have come in, and that shampoo purchase would be a major crisis. So they would flip out. And this is sometimes the wives do, sometimes the husbands do. It can be an issue.
Oh yeah, we share credit cards, so we each have the same credit card, but it's in both of our names.
Yep.
But then I have my own credit card that I've had before we got married that I've just had. And then he has one too. They're both actually Discover. It's kind of funny. But neither one of us joined them together. But I mean, we both know, like if I spent something on there, I pay it off, and he knows because he sees it come out of our bank account.
So we're going to talk about credit cards.
But I keep that for a reason.
Your dances with that snake.
Oh gosh, I keep that one for a reason, because if I'm going to buy him anything for like Christmas or his birthday, I have to buy it on my card. Otherwise, he knows what I bought.
So this goes back to that whole gifting thing. Remember that episode where we go? Yeah. That doesn't even enter our marriage, because she can buy things that I won't know about because I don't monitor the statements, but I can't buy anything she doesn't know about.
Right.
But I'll just buy something and give it to her as soon as we get home and go, hey, I bought you this. And then she'll take it back if she doesn't want it or whatever. But that's extremely rare. I'm trying to think, because there was, okay. So I bought her a word that I can't mention on here. I don't know. So when we were talking about shotguns, was that allowed to be, because we talk about shooting and shotguns and things it's a shooting.
I think that's fine.
Yeah. So anyway, I bought her a new pistol, And I bought me a new AR style H&K rifle. Mm-hmm. And I thought she was really going to like the pistol, and she just didn't. And so now I have two. Apparently I bought something for myself. But I don't know. And she likes to buy her own stuff. So I go, what did I buy you for Christmas this year?
Oh, God. What did dogs get you for Christmas?
Yeah, it's usually the dogs bought me this, Palmer. All right.
That I'm not saying that you have to be controlled, but I am saying that you should share your finances.
Yes, absolutely. Because the benefits, it's beneficial, right? If it was harmful all the time, then we'd probably have different advice, you guys. But the benefit of what we've seen day in and day out, and even we quoted 10 million people have gone through Financial Peace University, right? Like we work with literally millions of people that have done this plan, and it's one of the top comments that we get that our marriage feels closer.
Yes.
And there's something about it, you guys, of combining. So if you haven't yet, we encourage it. We really do. And I love that the science backs it up too.
It does. Have that conversation. Have those tough conversations.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And we're going to be teaching and doing some supplements to a lot of these Dave Ramsey things because we want our audience to see that. We deal with these principles and how we get a divorce. I am always conscious of that in dealing with people's finances because I've heard a lot of attorneys say, oh, you just divide it in half and whatever they get. No, we look at what can we do that will maximize your future because there are things that will send you down a cliff if we do certain type of deals, and there are other deals that will send you on a blissful path of financial security and financial peace going forward. We keep those things in mind, and you want, if not us, then you want to hire an attorney who will do that. But if one thing you will know is those are the types of things that we look for. So if you're going to hire us at the Palmer Law Group, but we will. So please like, subscribe if you like the content we're giving you, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.